Welcome Karthik to Plugin India. Karthik is the founder of Zeon, and Karthik, give me a little bit of your background. So obviously this is not your first business. You have been involved with other things in the past. So
our first venture was in textiles. So we were importing and distributing a lot of yarn from Korea, Vietnam and all those places. So in 2009 we branched out into Delhi, Maharashtra, Gujarat and all those
for yarn supply.
Yarn supply. Somewhere around 2012 I got sort of obsessed with the environmental issues and all that. So we sort of tested our waters with retail. So we started a retail chain for organic food. So we were sourcing it from farmers who are growing it organically and all that. So then that love sort of led into eventually to electric cars.
Okay.
So we bought the
E2O.
The E2O. Until that point, like we were convinced. I mean, we were happy that we were not emitting anything, and we were happy driving that car. Then I think after some point we realized that if the electric vehicle revolution has to go, the lack of charging infrastructure is what is holding it back.
Point.
Yeah, it's a pain point. So then we sort of, I think late 2019 and 2020, the idea of sort of get in my head, and we did some research and figured out how much capital would be required, whether we'll be able to make an impact or not. So we figured that we could do something on that, and I mean, we started off not with a lot of ambitions that we have today, but we started off more as a pilot project. We wanted to just do a few on a stretch and see what happens. So that sort of led us to the next level and the next level, and I think now
34 chargers and growing.
Yeah, about 35 and growing now. Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. So what does the name Zeon mean?
It's sort of a name from Greek mythology. So we just searched for a lot of names, and we got a lot of names from Greek mythology and all that. We shortlisted a few, and I think it sounded better. I mean, there's nothing much to it. Right. It sounded better. That's what we liked about it. Yeah.
Okay. So now one of the things, a lot of people want to make investments in charging stations, especially from a business point of view. Now, what kind of ROI will happen for a charger like this? What is the minimum volume of charging that is required? Because you may have some business partners that you may want to work with in future. So what would be your word of advice for people who want to get into this business along with you?
Right. See, the ROI, if you ask me today, it's a bit tricky because, see, at optimal levels of utilization, your ROI could be like 3 to 4 years.
No,
right?
ROI, that's payback.
Payback, yeah. Okay. What I'm asking, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
When the charger comes to its optimal level of utilization, you would get the money back in about 4 years.
Okay.
Right? But when will the chargers hit the optimal level of use is anybody's guess. Right. So that depends on how quickly the adoption is going to happen, what sort of car models will be launched, and what kind of chargers that you're deploying and all that. So I think once you hit the optimal utilization levels, then it's much more clear.
What is optimal utilization level, if I were to ask you that?
Let's say
for a charger like this,
the optimal utilization level has to be about slightly higher than 20%.
So this is a 50 kilowatt charger.
Yeah.
And what in terms of number of units of electricity sold, what does that mean?
Let's say you'll have to deliver about between 300 to 400 units a day.
Okay.
Right. For you to break even.
So 300 units at about 22, 23 rupees in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
It could vary in different states depending on what the cost
the cost of power is. Yeah. The cost of infrastructure and the cost of power is different in each state.
So on an average, if you're discharging or you're charging it at about 20 kilowatts, you're looking at 10 hours of a gun being used every day.
Correct.
Okay, which is not a very big ask if the number of cars.
Yeah, once you get to 10 hours, I think then you're there. Yeah, it's about 10 hours of usage per day will get you there.
Right. Yeah. So now this is one of your busiest chargers.
Yes,
right?
one of us. Yeah.
And what's your experience with traffic jams over here?
We do get, let's say on the weekends, on public holidays, on festival times, we do get 2 or 3 cars waiting to charge, some coming at the same time. It doesn't mean that you have 3 cars waiting in all the day long. No, that's not happen. It happens like towards the breakfast time, towards the dinner time.
Thanks to your tie-up with
Yeah,
Sarvana. Right.
So it is like not all the time, but if let's say if you got 6-7 cars, you will get 2 or 3 coming in at the same time. So that's a problem.
So is there a kind of a cooperation between car owners where I said I won't charge to 100%, let me finish up to 80% and then move?
Yes, of course. See, I think the electric vehicle community is a very mature, very highly understanding sort of a crowd where people don't usually most, or let's say 90% of the crowd, they don't charge to 100% if somebody is waiting. Okay. I mean, if I have to travel more than 200-300 kilometers a day on one stretch where I don't have charges in between, then yeah, somebody would charge for 100%. Or if there's nobody waiting after you, people do charge for 100%.
Right.
But usually when you have somebody waiting after you, I don't think anybody charges beyond 90%. That's a max. So most people just charge just enough to get to their destination.
Right. Because at home it's cheaper.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to talk about one challenge that the charging industry per se faces, what would that be, and what would be your thinking about how we will go about addressing that challenge?
At least to our understanding, the biggest challenge is the reliability of the infrastructure, right? Electric power supply. See, I mean, there are 2 parts to reliability. One part of it you can ensure from the operator's side, that is from our side, in terms of the quality of the equipment that we put in terms of the quality of the electrical work that we have, in terms of the software that we, the simplicity of the software that we enable our customers to use, the user interface. So that is on us. So even if there's a connectivity issue, or even if your servers are down, the charges aren't going to function right. So you can take care of that. So in terms of the quality of the work and the strength of your team, you can ensure that. And the other half comes from the grid itself, right? So when you're talking about the grid, there are 2 issues, right? The grid itself. One is getting the power, right? So once you decide on a location, you'll have to know whether the local transformer has enough capacity to give you power, right? So once there is power, then you'll have to get the line and all that. So in some states, what happens is that when there is no infrastructure, you are asked to pay for the entire infrastructure. So yeah, it's not just, say, let's say if I have to deploy a 50 kilowatt charger, right? There are no 50 kilowatt transformers, right? So we'll have to put up a 100 or 150 kVA transformer, wherein my requirement is only 50, but there are no 50 kilowatt transformers.
Capacity.
Yes, so you'll have to put up a 100 or 150 kVA transformer.
So I can see your transformer over there.
Yes.
In front.
Yeah. So you'll have to pay for the entire infrastructure, right? So that
adds up to your capital cost.
Yeah, adds up to, it doubles actually. In some cases even more than double the infrastructure cost. Okay. So that is more location specific.
So then that's one challenge. You said there's another challenge.
That's another challenge.
Yeah.
The other challenge is the quality of power that you get. Right? You need to get a constant voltage. The grid needs to be stable all the time for the charger to function. So in some locations, what happens is that when customers come in at the odd hour of the day, let's say 11 o'clock in the night, the load utilization around that area is pretty low. So what happens is that there is a voltage spike in the charger. Right? So you wouldn't get the charger running at that time. So we are addressing that problem, working with the local officials here, trying to sort out this problem, trying to get the local grid to be more stable and all that. We are getting there, we are getting it done. Yeah.
So if you can share with us, you work with 3 states right now, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka.
Yeah.
So which of the 3 states has got the best quality of electric supply?
It's tough to say. I mean, I think when you take
variation inside states.
When you take Karnataka, I think the south of Karnataka is better, right? Once you go towards the north, we understand there is a lot of power outages, and there is load shedding for 2-3 hours in a day, even 4 hours in a day. Tamil Nadu, in terms of power availability, is quite good. Right. It's no problem. I am all across the state. It's
voltage
good.
And frequency?
That is a problem. Yes, in Tamil Nadu also there is a problem in terms of the voltage spikes and all that. There is a problem.
Kerala?
Kerala not so much. At least to our limited experience that we have, Kerala is good. Is
Right.
good. Yeah.
A lot of it is idle, so I guess I don't know whether that makes any difference or
I
not,
don't know, but Kerala seems to be better in terms of the grid stability. It's much better. What we have to understand.
Now, a small different take. Now, fast charging. How good is it for batteries, and should we do it very often? So this is like in Hindi say apne pet pe laat marna or something like that. But we what your opinion about?
Yes. See, in terms of my qualification, I'm not an engineer. I have no qualification to talk about batteries. But given my limited understanding, is that what Tata recommends is that you are supposed to do only 4 consecutive DC charges.
Okay.
And the 4th time or the 5th time has to be a AC charger, slow charge. Yeah. So and definitely continuously DC charging your battery is not good. It's not.
But what if you're a fleet owner?
I think there are solutions for even for fleets. Overnight charging is a very common thing. So you don't see the fleet vehicles driving 24/7, right? So you would have them parked for 3-4 hours in the night probably. So those are good times to charge, and I think.
So my friends in the fleet industry, they tell me that the lower the temperature of the atmosphere or environment when you're doing fast charging, the better it is. So is that something that you take cognizance of when you're, because most of your stations are on highway where the temperatures are obviously very high, especially during summers, etc.
I don't think that's a big issue. Most of the battery packs that are coming, they've got liquid cooling. The battery management system itself is pretty sophisticated in the latest cars that we have. So I think the software takes care of most of the things. And once you see the battery going beyond the optimal temperature, you would see the charge speed reduce automatically. So I think those are things. Yeah, those are things a normal customer shouldn't have to worry about.
Right. So coming to Zeon's own vision for future, where do you see the company going? And second question is, what about funding your expansion? What are the plans for that?
So right now our vision is to expand to about 100 locations within the end of 2022. So we've got all the locations plotted on our map where we want to be. Most of the locations have been confirmed. We are in the various stages of deploying chargers in those locations. Right now we have about 35 which are operational. Right. So that is the vision for this year. So in another 5 years or 4.5 years, barring the 6 months that is already passed, we want to be at 400 locations within India with the chargers about let's say 1,300 chargers. So that's about 3 chargers per locations on an average. So we are looking at 400 locations. In terms, 1,300 chargers. Okay. Yeah, 1,300 plus. And it's not just the chargers. I think when you talk about the number of chargers, I think people are misled because not all chargers are the same, right? So you got
a 50 kW, you got a 25 kW, you got a 5 kW. Or
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
So I think going forward, just for the sake of clarity, it is better for us to talk in terms of the number of kilowatts that are applied, right? So in about 4 years or 5 years time, we are looking to deploy about 75 megawatts worth of chargers. So that's the size we are looking at. So in terms of the plan for expansion, how to fund it, we will be going in for fundraising at some point in time in the near future.
Right. So can I send this message over to venture capitalists, Series B funding?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep 1,000 crores ready minimum, guys. Zeon is waiting for you.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So we need to raise funds. And apart from that, we are also looking to bring in franchisee partners, people who understand, who wants to make small investments into the charging infrastructure in their own locality or in their own place. So as long as they understand how this the ROI for the business works, it could be prolonged for a period of time. So as long as they understand the ROI cannot be as desirable as an established business, so we are willing to work with them. So
okay. So one last question.
Sure.
How about putting up a solar panel bank behind you and directly kind of getting your margins better by pumping the energy into cars. Is that an idea that you've been thinking about?
I mean, a lot of people ask about adding solar to the chargers because the energy that we get has to be clean again. So that is one, and in terms of the cost, that could reduce our cost. But the problem now is that the utilization is so low that adding a solar plant to a charger will not make financial sense because anyway the energy that you generate has to go into the grid, right? Because your charger is not utilized, let's say from 9 in the morning till 6 in the evening, right? It could happen 3-4 hours in between, so you don't know what hour the chargers are being used. We have a lot of usage towards 8, 9, 10 p.m. in the evenings. We have a lot of charges happening early in the morning, so that is not going to be fed by the solar, right? So I think the important thing for us to keep in mind is that the grid itself is getting cleaner. I think that is a point most people miss. In terms of Tamil Nadu, in terms of the installed capacity, if you see, the grid is about 58% cleaner, right? So 58% of Tamil Nadu is
renewables.
So your car is, any electric vehicle is getting cleaner as the grid gets cleaner, right? So that is very important to keep in mind. So it is not necessary for you to have a solar plant along with a charger. That actually increases your capital investment.
It costs you 11 rupees a unit in Tamil Nadu, and if you do your own solar generation, it costs you about $2, $3 with capital cost. Thrown in 8 rupees more margin.
You're very right.
Karthik, yeah. What else do you want for a business?
You will have to give us a storage solution along with that. Yeah, that is more important. What is the cost of storage solution, right? So that is more important. So I think once the lithium ion storage solution becomes cheaper and more viable, I think that will be taken care. So you can have for a 50 kilowatt charger, you can have a 20 or a 25 kilowatt solar plant that would trickle charge your battery, and whenever the charger requires to discharge higher rates of power, it can draw from the battery. So that is a solution, but right now that solution is too expensive to deploy. Yeah.
Unless you got a lot of swapping that's happening in around these stations, in which case it might make a lot of sense. So a lot of ideas, guys, and I think Karthik is in the right industry at the right time, right? So I believe brilliant future ahead for the team at Zeon, right? And I am sure that this is one company which is going to be in the news very much. So we will continue our interactions with them. Thank you, Karthik, for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.